Everybody, this episode we have game jams galore, gods will be watching, which make for awkward moments in the bathroom, and we settle a gentleman's dispute. This is episode 13 of the Indie Game Riot. Indie Game Riot! Hey everybody, it's JaShinYa, and like I said previously in like the last, I don't know, how many, 15 seconds? I don't know, how long is our intro music? I don't know. This is episode Unlucky 13, but I don't, is it really unlucky? I think it's lucky to even make it to 13. There's a ton of podcasts out there, shitty quality usually, but even so, that don't make it past into the double digits. They just lack the will, the determination, the drive, and just quite frankly, the talent. I'm like sucking on the teat of an ego monster right now. That's what I...
But for those of you who don't know, because if you've been watching the show, you do. I mean, you have to consider Rev's been working at Comic-Con, and Josh is about to have a baby.
Any day now, literally.
It could have literally happened tonight while we were recording this, while we are broadcasting live.
It's a possibility.
Who have missed the live recording. But yeah, no, we have determination. Like, we sweat determination. I'm
literally sweating right now. It's hot.
Game Riot.
I'll turn off the fans.
I can't wait until the winter so I can actually like upload videos and run my computer on like settings. It's like, oh, my computer's running kind of hot. Better open a window.
Well, speaking of opening a window, what's going on in your life? I don't know what that means.
Honestly. Oh, okay. I know something I can talk about. I hiked to the top of Sugarloaf Mountain today.
Sugarloaf Mountain?
Sugarloaf Mountain, which is the tallest mountain in my county, and I think possibly like the tallest freestanding non-ranged peak in my state.
So it's essentially just a mountain.
It's a mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably just a large hill, but it's the tallest thing in the state. So they call it a mountain, so its ego is stroked.
The Appalachian Mountains, I don't know if you've ever seen them since you're on the West Coast there, Rev, but the Appalachian Mountains are the oldest mountain range in the world, which is why they are like, they're kind of like, looks like people shaved the crags off of it. It's like rounded instead of pointed.
Yeah, it is 1,200 feet tall. So not a whole lot, not super big. But.
Yeah,
I think I changed more than 1,200 feet in elevation between San Diego and here. No, I'm being facetious.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you're just gonna break off the United States and sink into the ocean, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well,
if you want to know how old it is 500 million years old.
Congratulations.
Because that matters.
Happy birthday, mountain.
Yep.
And it's still collecting Social Security, that bastard.
Disability. Rev, you were working at Comic-Con, outside of Comic-Con, like the excommunicated friend that no one likes.
You know those people that like irritate the hell out of you outside of any major convention or at a fair or anything. It's like the hobos that are like handing out business cards and stuff like that. Well, I was one of those, except I look good. So
damn good, ladies.
And I'm not like a meth addict or anything. So I got hired by PBS to pimp out their new show. Comes out this October on PBS called Beyond Geek. I'm in episode 2, but they hired me and my husband to.
Yeah, he did. He said it earlier.
Oh, maybe I was
pre-show.
It was pre-recording pre-show.
Yeah,
but yeah. So they hired us to hand out flyers, and we did that all day, and got a bunch of business cards. Lots of people that were interested in either that or my foam fighting or the podcast. Unfortunately, we didn't have any promotional materials for Indie Game Riot ready because this kind of came up last minute. Like, it was literally Wednesday evening. I got home from running some errands, and my wife is like, "You're going to San Diego this weekend." I was like, No, I'm not.
What?
Yes, you are. So yeah, we got paid by PBS to intoxicate ourselves during the day. It was the only way I could handle it because I got a bum knee, and standing all day and not like. Literally, there was no movement. Like, I'd walk to the bathroom and back every once in a while. That was about the extent of my movement. Just standing there handing out flyers and
So did you have like a camelback full of booze? Is that how it worked?
No. So the first day we got Bacchus and I, my husband and I, got these water bottle type deals for posing in our costumes with some guy's new open source cell phone, and gave it to us. And apparently they are the really cool thermos type water bottles. So I made whiskey sours in mine, and it was fun. But I am tanned beyond belief. Like, I did not think my skin could get this dark.
I would have probably died if it was me. I burn.
Oh, you would have.
Yeah.
I burn so easily. But were there like warring? Did you have like any kind of rivalry with other like pamphlet hander-outers?
Yes, actually. For the most part, everybody was cool. Like, everybody's, they're wandering around, walking by, and it's like, hey, take one of yours, you take one of mine. Cool. Everybody's got something out of this. We're all being paid about the same amount to do the same job. There was a group of people from Entertainment Weekly that set up across the walkway from us, and one day they switched over to the side that I was on because there was a little bench there so I could rest my knee. And one of the guys was 10 feet away from where I would stand, and he's like, hey, I'll move further down. He's like, no, dude, trust me on this. I've mapped it out. If we have 12 feet between you and I, they will grab mine, look down, see what it is, look up, and autonomically grab yours. And this is social engineering at its finest. We can work this to the betterment of everybody. And he was like, yeah, okay, cool. But the TV guide girls, if I ever find, I'm gonna punch her in the face. There's human decency, right? If you're doing a job and somebody else is doing a similar job but isn't for your company, you don't shit all over them just because, fuck them, I have breasts. So, sorry
that's
about
how,
my language.
Well, that's how Let's Plays and live streaming, that's just how it is.
But she literally stood a foot in front of me. So she's blocking off everything.
I've got bibs.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I can't. I'm a sexy man, but I can't compete with a pair of breasts. Short shorts, tight t-shirt, long blonde hair. I can't compete with that.
See, originally in my head, I had this image because when I go to my local to this mall, there's a Chinese the stereotypical Chinese place in the mall, the food court. And then next to it, there's this hibachi teriyaki food place with some other Asian people. And the entire, anytime you walk in there, it's just two women screeching from, they'll, yell at you even if you're not even in the food court yet. Sepa! 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 The whole time. I don't know, that's the image I had in my head, except with pamphlets.
We would try to be entertaining and topical. We had this kind of spiel, new series on PBS this fall, Beyond Geek. It is all things geek and nerdy on public TV, brought to you by the letter C for its Comic-Con, H for it's frickin' hot out here. It is Beyond Geek on PBS this fall. Check it out. Kid-friendly, Mr. Rogers approved, Beyond Geek on PBS.
Nice.
So, we were trying to be useful, and, I'm not screaming at him, but I think we went through, 8 bags of cough drops between the two of us, so...
Oh, that's actually... the medicated cough drops? I knew someone in high school who was given those, not thinking she downed the entire bag of them in a day in class, and she was high the day. And
now you have to show your ID in order to buy them, so that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. No, those were prescription.
Well, enough about me and the Comic-Con. How have you been, Josh?
I don't know. I feel like I'm 65 years old because remember before you guys were telling me about all your injuries?
Uh-huh.
At least you had a reason behind your injuries. My injuries just happen. I just wake up one day and I'm I might as well have. My knee just swelled up one day. and it hurt. I couldn't put weight on it unless I had it like at a 45-degree angle. And I had to go to work like that because I don't have, insurance, so whatever.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that. But I don't have insurance, so the whole time I'm like looking like I'm like walking like Igor while at work trying to package things and do whatever. People don't know where I work, so I'm not going to tell you. But yeah, so I don't know. I just wake up now. Like sometimes it happens to my ankles a lot, but this is the first time it happened to my knee, and that was like this past Tuesday that happened, and my knee is like 98% now, but it still has a little bit of swelling in it, and I can't straighten it out the whole way. I don't understand. You
might have gout. Like, I'm not a doctor, but what you've just described based on, it's starts down in your ankles and now it's moved up to your knee, sounds very similar. A buddy of mine has gout. And that's basically what he describes it as well. Oh joy!
That means I have to like cut back salt or something. I think, right?
I don't know. I'll ask him and get you the info. But yeah. So today on Indie Game Riot, we discuss geriatric issues
for a 26-year-old man that has 96-year-old problems. Fantastic. Well, any other things that about our lives that no one cares about?
Other than the fact that we are streaming live.
Yeah, yeah, we're streaming live. Just so everyone knows who's listening to this as a recording, thank you for listening. But we also are doing live shows now, hitbox.tv/JaShinYa. And that's going to be, assuming nothing happens, should be Fridays at 9, just like always when we record, except you actually hear us record. And you can hear all the in-between, like where normally the bumpers play. We usually take short little breaks and banter, such things like that. So join us on hitbox.tv/JaShinYa to listen live.
And not only listen live, but also comment live. Between the shows, we'll be checking the comments and everything. Or between the segments, we'll
the chat box.
Yep. We'll checking stuff. And Hitbox is just a cool place. We were on it. I wasn't, but you two were on Indie 3 on Hitbox, and they're a bunch of cool people, so check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Updates on Twitter and Reddit, and Twitter and Reddit.
Well, that is a newsworthy topic that you brought up there. Buddy, you know what else is newsworthy? Yeah?
I forgot which one we're going into. Oh, yeah! Things on the news.
Indie News Ejection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an Indie News Injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
And on this episode of Indie News Injection, we got a new thing coming out of Chicago that hasn't been done since 1914 when there was a big fire. Oh, wait, no, that was 18. Fuck it. My history sucks. Anyways, there's a new thing in the wholesome Midwest. Chicago is hosting the first annual BitBash Festival, indie showcase in Chicago that takes place, because my tab's just all locked up on me, Saturday, September 6th. The Indie City Collective will be putting it on. It's, like I said, it's BitBash. Here's the big kicker on this. It's free.
Oh, yeah.
Free to get in, free to wander around. They are asking for like a $10 donation, just to kind of help them get everything all up and running. But if you go to their website, which is bitbashchicago.com, you can literally just click on the free ticket, say how many you want. I think they've got you limited to like less than 100. 2. You can get 2, which is definitely less than 100. But you can like all flat out, and they are, anything that's donated gets used to help pay for BitBash as well as others, and a portion of it, they don't have a breakdown as far as I was able to find across a couple of websites, but a portion of your donation will go to help out the Chicago Loot Drop
and local children's hospitals. Oh no, through Chicago Loot. Never mind.
Yeah, it
Come
helps
on,
out
Tech.
Local children's hospitals using the group Chicago Loot Drop. So
and they're accepting at the door.
Bam!
Oh.
And they have the emoticon on their website. How unprofessional! I hate these.
Oh
people.
my god!
Yeah,
it's actually a nice site, actually, considering how simple it is.
That's true. But if you don't want to donate $10, if you just want to donate $5 or $3, or I think the fee to donate through PayPal is like $1.24. You can enter however much you actually want to donate on the little thing that's on their website as well. So if you want to donate $100 to go to BitBash, you can, and it does support local children's hospitals
and indie devs, because that's what the whole thing's about. Come on, guys.
Yep.
That is true.
Well, we're just trying to get all the tax write-offable stuff out of the way before we really got into that.
So if you're in Chicago, you should definitely check this out if you're not doing anything September 6th. Yeah,
it's September, in or around, or going to be near. Like, it's not too far from New York, but they haven't announced yet. They have not yet announced who the developers are that are going to be exhibiting. And unfortunately, they don't have a whole lot of other details currently. This is the first annual. I'm sure they're going to be figuring this out in the future. But they have like I said, it's the Indie City Collective that's behind this all. So you can be pretty sure that there are some of the developers that work with Indie City Collective, the lips, the teeth, the tongue.
The geek guy.
Exactly. And I'm not even drinking alcohol tonight. Like, how bad is that?
Why? No one is drunk tonight. Jeez.
I know.
What's wrong with the world?
It's an important episode.
I'm out of fresh. I'm out of whiskey that's not pre-mixed with stuff. So, no. So, Men Who Wear Many Hats is most likely going to be there. Cardboard Computer, AEIOWU is probably going to be there. Important Little Games, Ragtag Studio, Rob Lash, Sinister Design, and Trinket Studios. All really good chance that they're going to be there because they're a part of the Indie City Collective. Address 1260 West Madison Street, and you can just kind of check that out.
Now, I think the whole thing about it being free with a optional donation, I think that's. I mean, obviously, conventions like the large conventions, they need to make money to exist. I get that, but the fact that this is mainly centered around indie gaming and also the donations helping children's hospitals, just icing on the cake. But I think this is really good for the community as a whole, indie devs, even indie fans, whoever wants to go to these things, because it's a free convention. Chicago's a big Chicago's a big city, and they said that. Chicago's actually, when you think indie game central, Chicago's not really the place that you think of, but they said that there is like a pretty strong underground of indie devs in Chicago. Yeah. So I think in a city that has a strong support for that, this is really going to be good for indie devs and indie games and the whole community, because free conventions means more people will come, more people to see their games. Probably a lot of connecting between indie devs and getting tips and for aspiring indie devs. People might come who haven't put out a game or haven't put out a big game yet, and they are looking for they might sit on a panel for someone who has that experience, so they can get tips and make better indie games. So it's just good all around. I think this should happen more often, personally.
Yeah, and I also think that the very low price of free to get in also sort of lets people understand, I guess, a little bit more about what indie games are about. Maybe someone who doesn't necessarily know. It's like, oh, the Indie Game Bash is down the street. Maybe we should go check that out. I wonder how much it's going to cost to get in. Oh, it's free? That's kind of cool. And it kind of like shows the direction that a lot of indie devs and the community really want to go to, because
it's about passion, not money.
Yeah, exactly. And
generally speaking.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
I mean, money is also, always going to be a big issue. But
well, of course you want to make money, and if they make money, congratulations. But I'm saying compared to like AAA games, where, and we've had this discussion before.
The only reason.
Right. They put so many constraints because they're like, we have the perfect, which is completely wrong, but they're like, we have the perfect formula for a game to make us millions. Whereas indie devs have this, they don't have that constraint. They're like, well, I hope I make money, but if I don't, at least I made a game that I love, I made a game that's good.
Yeah, also maybe with like younger audiences as well, like maybe kids or teens who might think they want to get into the gaming industry but don't really know how. As you said, Chicago's a really big place, and
it's
kids,
the third largest market in the U.S.
Yeah, and people who are going to this, they'll be able to get a really hands-on, hopefully, view of like what it takes and ways that they can actually make their dreams of becoming a games developer possible and meet people who have already done it.
Yeah.
It helped everybody. It's a good.
Chicago's not that far away for you and me, Rev, or Tech. Rev, actually, yeah. I mean, you could probably get a one-way flight to Chicago for not that much, anyway.
I can't legally fly, but no, it's about a 29 hour drive for me.
I'm gonna have to ask you about that at some point. But anyway, but yeah, any other thoughts on BitBash Chicago?
I'm really hoping it goes well, and anybody that's out there that gets a chance to go to it, you have to go and check it out and come back and tell us all about it. Yes. So if you're that random guy from GameStop, then and your family reunion in Chicago, you should go check it out.
That'd be awesome if that was actually a thing. I think we have. We have another game jam because I said game jams galore and I meant it. That means more than one in my mind. But before that,
talk about Kickstarter putting the hammer down,
bam,
on what is being claimed as some of the worst PR that a games company could have made,
and that's saying something.
That is definitely saying something.
Phil Fish.
I wasn't gonna do it, but Areal Kickstarter has been suspended. Areal is considered the spiritual successor to Stalker, which is a game series taking place in the Chernobyl area, like the Chernobyl exclusion zone, where bandits and other stuff
Minor correction.
Mutants.
It's not Stalker. It's STALKER.
Get it right.
It's
an acronym.
Well, you know, Areal is put out by a Ukrainian developer, and they have basically had a planned Kickstarter. The Kickstarter did start, but after accusations from individuals saying that the gameplay footage and a lot of the art, the gameplay footage, the engine footage, and a lot of the art that they used was either stock Unity store-bought assets or just straight Stalker footage used for it. Kickstarter has removed the campaign off
which
of
had met its funding.
Yeah.
And it had met its funding, but nobody is going to be charged as of the making of this podcast for that. And the developers come out and said that people have been attacking them about.
Yeah, they're playing the victim, which is kind of sick. I hate that. I hate when people play the victim.
And they're also playing the tensions between Russia and the Ukraine right now.
Oh, come on.
They were talking about how Russian developers are, at least they've claimed that Russian developers have been quick to accuse this Ukrainian developer of multiple different things, like stealing art or.
What does that have to do with anything?
You know, it really doesn't, but I mean, this is the digital world and everyone's connected and everything's happening and everyone watches the news and are.
Well, and I guess
about things like that. So
it does kind of make sense to me, because I mean, if your goal, I mean, just look at this as from like a Black Ops or a PsyOps type perspective here. I mean, if you are working in Russian intelligence and your job is to dishearten and make all of them feel bad in Ukraine, you know, there are tons of ways that you can do it, and going to the level of pissing off game develop, like, you're not going to stop them from rioting.
That's so trivial in the grand scheme.
But is it really? I mean, think about why we have why here in the United States, you know, we now have equality for the various races. It was because some lady decided, fuck it, I'm going to sit at the back of the bus or the front of the bus because I don't want to walk the entire distance. Like that's a pretty trivial type deal, you know. And yet that's one of those flashpoint things that could completely change the course of human history. And
what?
I think I dropped.
No,
you're still there.
Okay.
Another thing that they're talking about too is the person who started this Kickstarter has also been involved in some lawsuits with art borrowing for a Kickstarter called Space Pioneer, and then crowdfunding for a nuclear energy space station or something like that. So I guess the guy who started the Kickstarter is under some scrutiny about other Kickstarters that he's started. Also, they seem to be...
I just want to put it out there too, just for FYI. The game dev is called the company is called West Games, which is ironic because Ukraine is considered East, I believe. But anyway, it's called West Games, and the CEO that you're talking about is Eugene Kim.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yep.
And that also just Stalker was a AAA game, but Areal is a break off of that, which is why we're talking about it, because it's an indie game at this point. But go ahead.
And also they were also showing some art and some footage from projects that the artists that were working in West Games have made for other projects as well. And I guess you can use stuff that you've done for other games. Like, we've seen a lot of Kickstarters with a lot of big AAA devs who have used a lot of their fame of making, these huge games in their Kickstarters, but not necessarily claiming that that's what the game is going to be. So I think this was a big issue of misrepresenting the game, and also they lost a lot of faith in a lot of their funders because they were only asking for $50,000, which to a lot of people seemed very low
for that big of a game. Yeah,
exactly. But they didn't state. They did talk about getting. They had money lined up and already had investors looking into the game, but they didn't come out with that, and people have claimed that those are false and they're fake, something about fake dev posts about that and updates. So really, this is a hard one because I don't know. There's a lot of things that this could be. It could have been another like Earth 2233 or whatever, the weird game that we said.
Earth 2066 or something.
2066 that was taken off of Steam. Like, it could have been one of those. It could have been a good game. But there were a lot of trolls on that. They got flooded with it. The devs didn't really handle it well, and they just didn't like it. It's a big
I don't know. I don't know if I really think these guys were trying to scam anyone or whatever. I think it is a case of really bad PR, and they just made it worse by people are just trying to come after us. Like,
is it? But here's devil's advocate on that, though. Is it wrong to play the victim when you're actually being victimized?
Are they being victimized?
Well, possibly. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Based on everything that I've read,
in my mind, it is anyway.
Okay.
I don't like playing the victim. I believe if there is adversity, you overcome it no matter what. Don't be like, oh man. Okay.
So you and I are hanging out, and I start punching you in the face, and you can't overcome that. But
so I'm gonna. So you start punching.
You're not going to ask somebody.
So you're gonna start punching me in the face. I'm just gonna lay there. Do you see what he's doing to me? That's what I'm gonna do. No, I'm gonna punch back. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, we get into it. Let's hypothetically, we get into an actual fight, and for some reason, it's probably not going to happen because I'm a scrawny little shit. But like we get into this fight, and you're getting your butt kicked. Are you too proud to ask for help or to call the police because I'm randomly assaulting you? And
if I can't do it, do it for some reason, like if my arms are broken,
yeah.
Oh, no, if I call for help, sure, but I'm not going to be like, there's a difference between like, hey, can anyone get my back here? As opposed to, oh, man, he punching me. Just lay on the ground, you know what I'm saying here?
I'll cede that. I will cede that.
And it also looks like it was just the doing of their PR guy, or Eugene Kim specifically, who was in charge of the Kickstarter within the game.
I thought that was Leonid. Leonid Kovtun is the Kickstarter dude.
But I think it was. It looks like Eugene Kim was the one who came out and was basically doing all the bad posting.
Oh, gotcha.
Like that. That's what I'm getting from it. But they are accepting donations via PayPal on their website, and they are planning on pushing the game forward. But they really needed a better tech demo to show. or at least footage that wasn't like pre-baked Unity or somebody else's footage on their Kickstarter.
I'm going to go ahead, even beyond the bullshit or whatever was happening here, I'm going to go ahead and say I've never actually played Stalker, but I always thought it looked interesting. I thought it would be a good game to play. And I would say that once I see more from them, like a more complete, like farther into development, I would consider, if I had the money, I would consider actually still funding them and maybe getting some games, the game that way. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll put a pin in it.
I talked to we were doing some research into this, and apparently a few experienced professional developers said, $50,000 for a game of that scope, that might be enough to do a tech demo when you go ask more people for money, but $50,000 for a game of this kind of scope just seems a bit lax. So either they're underselling they were either underselling their ideal from the get-go, or they were using it as a form of venture capitalism to get the tech demo to go, get actual.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a big possibility.
Yeah,
they seem to be in a big jam, Josh.
Well, one last thing is I before I move on to the jam, I just want to say I am getting a little bit tired of having to report on. I guess I don't have to, but of reporting on like negative. This kind of crap with crowdfunding and early access, just it's bringing such bad reputations to this kind of funding platform, and it's bothering me. But anyway,
it's good that Kickstarter did step in and we're like, hey, this is out of hand. You are breaching terms of service, and we are shutting this down.
Yeah, good on Kickstarter.
It does show that Kickstarter does have things put in place to hopefully and thankfully stop people who are using the service incorrectly.
But speaking of jam,
yeah, I like jam host.
This past weekend, the day before this live recording, that's like an oxymoron. I just realized. But anyway, this weekend before this, that you're hearing this, people are listening to this right away anyway. Was a game jam down in Orlando. And it is called Indie Galactic Space Jam. Basically, game devs...
Space Jam!
Game devs travel down to Florida and work with people within the, what do you call it, space and aeronautics industry?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Space
and aeronautics industry to work on games. And because there's a lot of similarities with... probably coding, I would assume, and things like that. I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist, but
rocket surgeon.
And I'm assuming a lot of these games are probably, space games. Yeah, you might get that idea. Space games. But the game was a 48-hour game jam for space themed games. And devs where you can go there and you can team up with whoever is there. They were taking all kinds of people from devs. They were taking programmers, game design, art, music,
pizza delivery boys.
Yeah, really, writers, musicians, things like that. All sorts of people. And once you get there, people were just like, "Hey, let me see what you can do." And all right, you want to join my thing? So for the 48 hours they were making these games. I still have yet to see the games that have come out of this, which is why I'm still reporting on it.
I actually have a list of them.
Oh, you do? Oh, you found them?
I did.
Fantastic.
There are a bunch of games for 8, 12, the number 4 after 12, and then plus 3. I can't, I have a trouble walking and chewing bubblegum at the same time. So podcasting and counting don't really work. They've got games like Skeleton Crew, Fix-It Space, Malfunction, Junk. One that looks kind of cool is called Pet Rock, that you can actually download right now, and it's a pet planet simulator where you start as a rock and you add elements and you have a relationship with the sun to grow your planet and see how long you sustain life.
It's like a Tamagotchi for space.
Yeah, you also have one called NASA Budgetary Simulator 2014.
Oh, God.
The Congress might do that one just to figure out what they can actually do with the minimal amount of budgeting that they have. They've got Mars Landing Simulator, Astronaut No Bacca, which I don't. Oh, I guess that's something about you're exploring space. Mission Space Recovery, New Space Flight Simulator, The Next Giant Leap, and a bunch others. You can actually find them on the site. I don't know what I pushed. I don't know what I clicked to get this list.
Actually, I did assume that a lot of Sims would come out of this, just based on the whole aspect of the space part. You know, I could imagine something like Kerbal coming out of this. You know, or you know,
Punch Robot.
Something.
Yeah, Punch Robot. The art in that one looks really cool.
And what's really cool about this game jam, though, is that it's helping people get jobs either within game development or in space. Yeah. They even have a thing that's like, are you a space agency? Where they can not only sponsor the event, but you could also, they have a little thing where you could find your next employee. You don't know. You know, people that have the experience in whatever whatever it takes, I guess. I don't know. I don't know much about rocket science, so I don't know what they do.
But yeah, it looks like a lot of these it looks like you can actually download almost every single one of the games that have been submitted on the Indie Galactic Space Jam website.
Where?
Let's
they have it links over to itch.io.
If you click check out the games on the front, that's a whole list of them.
Jesus, I'm blind.
Yeah. Unfortunately, apparently there's a new one recently submitted. I can't tell which one it is, but I clicked it and now there is an extra space.
Yeah, and for people who are listening to this, hopefully there's still time, but there is a little over 2 days. It's 2 days, 20 hours left.
No, is it?
According to itch.io?
Yeah, that is true.
To submit to this, yeah.
Thursday. So you still have 2 days left as of the recording. You can check out the link in the description below. Yeah, it seems cool.
Yeah.
People's job is good. Yeah, space is awesome.
But the main reason I wanted to report on it is so people could check out those games. So I'm glad we found them. It was right in front of my face the whole time. But and also the fact that this could happen again next year, because it seemed like it turned out to be pretty successful. Yeah. It was organized. By people who seem to have some experience in both game design and space. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, they must be out there.
No, they have like the people there. Their name is Kunal Patel, Dr. Peter Smith, and Corey Cochran.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know him. But...
Oh, I don't know him.
Yeah. They sound like rocket surgeons, you know.
But yeah, they're the three that were the main organizers of this jam. So again, with the awesome jams, I love jams. There's a jam every week, and I love it. Usually on itch.io anyway.
It looks like they teamed up with scientists from NASA, SpaceX, rocket crafters, and a bunch more. So it looks like they actually had some like scientific insight. So I guess at least some of these are going to be somewhat scientifically accurate, which is kind of cool. I mean, Kerbal did so well, so...
Yeah.
I finally got to see somebody playing that game, by the way.
Kerbal is ridiculous.
Watched a stream of it. It was ridiculous, awesome.
It's hard. Like, you gotta know what you're doing. Yeah, there's channels that have been, like, got big because of Kerbal, because they're, like, the only people that knew how the fuck to get to the moon.
Yeah, I remember... I've watched some videos of people who, like, just start out, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I go to, like, one of their, like, episode 17 or episode 18, and they're like, oh yeah, now that we are in this other thing, we're going to do a 4-minute burst here, and then we're going to get into the apoapsis of Kerbin right here, and then we're going to air brake through the atmosphere and without any problems. And I'm like, are you speaking Latin?
You with your math.
Exactly.
Speak at the English. Well, speaking of English, you know what else is English?
What's that?
Starting the riot is in English.
That is technically in English, yes.
Woo.
All right, everybody. Starting the riot this week is a game called Gods Will Be Watching.
That's awkward.
Yeah, a little bit, because God's watching riots aren't very good.
Can I get some privacy, jeez?
Yeah, geez, seriously, guys. Gods Will Be Watching is a point-and-click adventure series that puts you in the role of a commander of a spaceship that has crash landed on a freezing, desolate planet, and it's your job to make sure that everyone stays sane, nobody dies, make sure you can get food, and get back to civilization with as many people staying alive as possible. They have the original game, which is a point-and-click game that you can actually play on their website right now, and I've had a chance to play it, and it is like the most anxiety-ridden game that I've played in a long time that isn't a horror game. You are literally walking around and talking to people, and that's it. But you have a certain number of days. Everybody has happiness and sanity, and it took me a little bit to like understand how it worked, and unfortunately I got how it worked a little bit too late, and one of my guys ran away, and it was bad.
So is it multiple endings, or is it game over if that happens?
It's not game over. It's game over if everybody disappears, because everyone has a sanity level, and then everybody has to eat, and there are also there's a virus that's in the area. This is also not the final game, which was kickstarted kickstarted on Indiegogo. Sorry to mix those up, but
branding.
€12. They were asking for 8, and the game has been funded. It'll be out for PC, Mac, Linux,
it's already
and iOS. Well, it's out for PC, Mac, iOS, and Linux, and Android. And so basically, like, at least in the demo, you have certain actions that you can do every day. You only have so many things that you can do a day. You can add wood to the fire, talk to people, and talking to people raises their sanity. And you also have to talk to them to make sure that they're not sick. You have to prepare antidotes with the doctor and figure out repair the transmitter to transmit a help signal, and that takes a really long time. You have a dog, and it's you also have a robot, and it's just managing everything to do while making sure that everyone is sane and healthy and not like dying is just so stress inducing, but it's very fun and very atmospheric, and it's only one screen. You only are looking at these people sitting around doing these relatively short animations of them just standing around, but they've been able to pack so much game into this one frame that you can't stop.
I think it's, first of all, I'm going to say, to reiterate my love for game jams, because this came out of Ludum Dare 26 game jam, and a lot of really good games come out of those Ludum Dare games. But and this, first of all, this was ranked second place in that game jam, which makes you want to find out what the first one was, because this one's amazing.
Really.
And the theme was minimalism, because you were talking about it's just one scene. So that's really good storytelling talent right there. The fact that they can pack, like you said, they packed all that into just one single scene with 5 actions per day or something like that, right?
So, do you get a vibe? Are you getting a vibe like The Thing?
You mean like
The Thing?
I don't know. I mean, I guess in the sense that it's like a psychological thriller. Where there's a lot of issues going on with people's heads in the game, and your head really when you're playing, because you said Tech that it was like really like full of anxiety for you, right? Wait, did he drop?
No, I'm here. No, it was like my heart was racing the entire time I was playing, like especially because you have this big thing on the top where it's like this many days. Or like this many days left. This is how many days you've been here, and this is how many actions you have. And some actions that you do in the game have to use every single action. Like you can talk to the ship psychologist, and as a full day action, you can have a group meeting where you talk about stuff and figure out how everyone's doing, and that raises morale and raises people's sanity. But you use every single action that day. So you have to make sure you have food. You have to make sure that you are far enough away on the repairs of the transmitter. And this is just the game instances that I'm talking about are just about the original demo game. In the new game, there will be multiple levels, a lot of new different scenarios on a much bigger scale with a lot more people to interact with. You are on a ship. You are dealing with a lot of looks like fighters and enemies, and you have to basically manage this entire ship with so many actions a day and just try to survive. And that is, like, at least for me, just so just to the core chilling.
I think
yeah.
I think Rev will not play this game. That's my
Actually, I think you would enjoy this. I think you would at least
looking at it and saying, yeah, I wouldn't mind. It doesn't seem to be actual horror suspense. It seems to be more just kind of a we're fucking with your head.
Yeah, well, it's
I thought you didn't like.
It's so real.
Yeah, I thought you didn't like. I thought you didn't like anything that was like heart palpitating in any way.
No. I don't like horror suspense. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I do sword fighting for a hobby. It's nothing like that. It's just more like the movie The Thing, and that's kind of why I was asking about it, was because it took me a long time to be able to watch the movie The Thing, and I was kind of getting that vibe off of
love
what
that
I
movie,
was
by
seeing
the way.
in the game.
I've never actually seen that movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's an amazing movie, but I don't think
I'm not getting that anyway. Based on what you guys are saying and everything like that, I'm really not seeing that kind of horror suspense deal.
Yeah.
It's more just of you've got pressure and more pressure and more pressure, and I can deal with that.
It's just a good game. It's one that I haven't really, like, the way that they went about it. It's not something that I've seen done, which is why it's on Starting the Riot, obviously.
Well, what do you think that they'll do for their follow-up? Because games that come out of Ludum Dare often are people who don't have a whole lot of experience as far as like portfolio is concerned. What is that?
That
Again,
is a that's just a short clip of some of the music that is actually in this game. Playing it off there. No, it doesn't look like they even talk too much about their personal experience. They do have the origins where they talk about how the game was developed in less than 72 hours, the original one anyway, and about the remake, but they don't really go into a whole lot of detail about who they are, which is I think okay. I mean, they do. They talk about the team.
Which seems to be a small team. It looks like they've got like less than 10 at max.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a picture of like 4 people.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's all of them or not, but it's pretty small. I mean, considering the game, though, I don't think they needed that many.
Yeah.
I mean, it is minimalism, though, theme. So.
But they do have more than just that game.
True.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like there are 6 current members of this team.
Currently.
Yeah, well, currently, yes.
Because on that's what I'm saying. Indiegogo, I'm only seeing 4, even at the bottom of like people involved. Yeah. But maybe they just don't have Indiegogo accounts. I don't know.
Yeah, they have 6 people on their dev team, subject to change, obviously.
Well, Deconstruct team, good job on making an amazing game out of the game jam. That's what we love to see. Thank you, Ludum Dare and game jams everywhere, for inspiring all these devs for things like this.
Definitely. Now, where is this game available? I don't think we covered that. Can we get it off Steam, or can we buy it directly from them?
It literally just came out on Steam this past weekend. That just came by. And Tech, I think, said that it's out on Windows and Mac. Did you say Linux?
Mac, Linux, iOS, and Android. So literally, if you have a system, it will play on.
If you are not Amish, then it will play on it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else? Any other question?
You know where you can't find any Amish?
In a peep show.
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
Episode 13's Peep Show is a new game coming out called Sunless Sea. It's kind of a,
No striptease?
No striptease, no.
What?
No, I mean, I can take my shirt off if you'd like.
What is happening right now? You know what?
Are we going to start this over again? I want to make a striptease joke.
He did start it.
I was okay with continuing on with it. The striptease joke was fine. I was
Okay.
playing, I'll take my shirt off. My webcam's turned off, so it's not going to do you any good, but, you know.
For our live watchers, you know what time it is. It's time to put the kids in bed.
We just suddenly got an M for adults only.
All right. Wait, what's happening now?
Sunless
We're
Sea.
recording right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh, get it together. Episode 13, come on.
This is Unlucky
I mean,
13.
but, you know.
It's in my head. Hey, I got the pregnancy brain, so...
So, Rev, tell us about Sunless Sea.
Okay, so Sunless Sea is this really actually cool, amazing looking game that's kind of based in a Victorian Gothic kind of steampunk. I'm getting a huge vibe of like Call of Cthulhu or something like that. You know, it's definitely got a Necronomicon
Nomicon, yeah.
touch to it.
Like an Orwell feel.
Well, it reminds me of, like, did you ever play those or see the board games played, like the Call of Cthulhu, Arkham Horror, or whatever? Yeah. It reminds me a lot of that, except video game form.
And it seems to be fun.
Yeah. Well, I think those games are fun, too. I played it before.
It's less horror, and it's more just kind of have fun with a weird, fucked up situation, and just about anything can go. You know, it's made by Fail Better Games Ltd. That's how you know they're serious. And like you have the writing seems to be extremely entertaining. Like here's just a random. We broke into the galley today and found appalling things: corpse candles, graven images, and it clicked off. And the mortal remains of able seaman Areton rendered partially into stock. The wretched cook could only cackle. You'll like him better salted.
He said semen and then salted.
Exactly. Oh, yes, the university's maritime liaison whispered breathily. Go back to it. Oh, yes, this is quite a tasty one. Let me explain it to you. He or she explains with her teeth glinting. Like that's just some of the random writing in this, and it strikes my funny bone weird nerve, and it also seems to be relatively procedurally generated. It doesn't seem that you're going through the exact same story every time, but you're in an underground ocean on your customizable steamship, and you can fight monsters, or you can sleep with your crew. And I do mean the kind of sleep, not the kind of sleep.
What do you mean by oh yeah? What is?
I don't know about you, but when I burst through a wall.
Burst through a wall.
If you watch the music video for Turn Down for What, that's the sort of idea.
By the way, just a correction, it's called the Necrogoblicon, so thank you, Purple.
It's not the Necrogoblicon.
Get to the earlier part of the show. This is we are recording this live.
Yeah, I forgot we're gonna be like we're talking to the people in the chat and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that encourage you people to join the free live show. You can be part of the show now.
Yeah.
Right.
This game also looks like it really revolves around whatever sort of happens, and you being in charge of what works. So I feel like there's a game mechanic in here where, as the captain, you can go mad, hide it from your crew, kill all of them, and then
recruit new ones and train them to be divers. Force them to change light bulbs.
I just want to play as the giant crab creature that they have on their page here.
Oh yeah, that thing looks cool.
Yeah, but I really want to play this game so bad.
I do too. When I first came across it, it's in early access right now. It is $18.99, and I don't know if they made the transition for euros or anything like that. So you might get screwed just a little bit, but you can buy it. You can buy it via Humble Bundle. You can get it on directly on their website, failbettergames.com.
They also have a really cool setup on their website about their roadmap and the percentages of all the different things that they're actually working on. So, like, if you look right now, sailing is at 90% done with like survival at 85. They're still working on the world and the sound and legacies and the fiction and the phenomenon and optimization are kind of low. But like you can actually see their progress on the game in a really straightforward graph, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then they even explain the graph under the graph. These people are good. I like this game. Haven't even played it yet.
They also do have it. You can buy it on Steam, not just on the Humble Bundle. What else was there? Some of their damn it, my laptop just locked up on me. Some of their inspirations for this were, if you can't see, Don't Starve, FTL, Sid Meier's Pirates, other various roguelikes.
Really? Sid Meier's Pirates?
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean, I guess I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
But then here's one of those things that I really, really like about this. Now, granted, it's not available on Linux, so, to them. But it is, if you buy it on Early Access, where it is currently now, the game is in a playable form right now, and you can, and about a dozen hours of gameplay, give or take. But you also, if you purchase it during Early Access, you get any extra areas or DLC that they provide in the future.
Yeah.
So, not a bad idea for $20, give or take.
I'm gonna redeem my math sense here. If it's 12 hours of gameplay and you pay $19, that's about $1.58 per hour of gameplay. So the
replayability in this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you really have to think about that. I mean, that's pretty good for an early access game. That
plus, on top of that, if they do provide the DLC and everything like that,
yeah, definitely, totally worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, this, like I said, the simple fact that this reminds me of like the old Call of Cthulhu, Arkham Horror RPG board games is enough for me to even want to like buy it right off the bat. But it looks really cool, and like you said, they're doing this very professionally with very large amount of transparency when it comes to what their time and energy and the money, because I think they were crowdfunded, I believe, at some point, I believe, is going towards. So, and you can keep an eye on it while you're waiting for updates.
This isn't like a low resolution game either. It's a very high res game, like, and I mean, I'm not trying to diss low res games, but it's nice to see an indie game with like really flushed out graphics.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah,
I mean, I kind of get it, but it is nice.
Yeah. Just a small little bonus there.
Any other? Okay.
The art style is fantastic. I looking at the UI right now in the screenshots that they have available, and it's simple enough that you can at a glance take in everything that you need to know, and it doesn't appear overly complicated. It doesn't appear that they went out of their way to try and cram as much crap in your eyeballs as possible. They've got the journal, like their menu stuff, where all of that info is. It looks like they have the journals and all of that is accessible through a menu. So I can definitely see the Sid Meier's Pirates, type in there, the whole Civ scene type deal.
Well, it's like, have you ever played Sid Meier's Pirates?
I've not played Pirates directly, no.
I actually own it on Steam, but it was like it's. I think the sailing aspect of it is largely coming from that, because there's pretty much two parts of the game. There's sailing, and then there's like little mini games that you play in between. So I think it's the sailing that's mainly coming from Pirates.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this. Like, at first I was hesitant. I was kind of leery because I figured, Sunless Sea, and it's going to be a dark and scary. And then I started looking into it, and it's more like the absurd with Cthulhu.
All right, and let's just go around the clock, or around the clock, whatever. Will you play it, Rev?
Yeah, I will play this in a heartbeat. If I had $20 on hand right now, I would buy it this instant.
Will you play it, Tech?
Same as Rev.
Will you play it, anyone who's listening?
Waiting for responses.
Waiting for the 4-second thing. But anyway,
he's in Scotland.
Oh, that's true. Well, anyway, and I will absolutely play it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So $20.
Gotta wait for payday though. So.
Early access, get all the cool stuff, play it, peep show, and free fun. And this week for free fun, we have a fine little fighting brawler game, I guess you'd call it, called Gentleman Dispute, and it's making its rounds on YouTube. That's how I heard of it, through YouTube. It's making its rounds among all the popular Let's Players and things like that, and it looks really fun, especially if you get a second person to play with. Essentially, you're two old-timey gentlemen, and you have a dispute. And to settle your dispute, you fly at each other while freezing yourself in space and time, and then eject yourself from that space and time hole at the other person in an attempt to knock their hat off. The game is developed by a group called Juicy Beast. You can find it on Game Jolt and, as we just found out, The Escapist, which it seems like you can download it from. Their description: two gentlemen battling each other with top hats and special pocket watches. Lose your hat and you lose your honor. And you can also download all two of their soundtrack titles.
They might have more, but there's only two that I saw.
So yeah, it's developed in Unity and everything like that. It's very, very simple, very fun to play, very simple to play, and looks like the whole thing is just silly, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be pretty similar to most of their games. Juicy Beast is a group of four guys out of Montreal, Canada, and. Yeah, and they got together in 2009, and they have released 10 games since then.
That's
wow.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing about this game that I really like, though, I haven't seen any of the other games, but tell me if you have. Tell me if it matches. But their art style is also really nice. It's very cartoonish, but it's well done. The artist is I mean, I'm going to like the minute details here, but it's what makes it pop, is that it's very like well shaded and lined and outlined and everything like that.
Yeah.
And the animations are very fluid, and it's interesting when you play. You move around, you can jump, but because of the size of your top hat, your head, like if you move forward, your head sways backwards. So it helps in the fact that you can dodge like that. But at the same time, it kind of hinders you as far as attacking goes, because your head's swaying backwards, but you want to point your hat at the other dude to knock his hat off.
Yeah, I have one big question about this game.
What's that?
So you're trying to knock someone's top hat off. So you can knock their top hat off with your top hat, but flying upside down doesn't knock your top hat off. Are they like suction on, or?
Well, you're talking. These are the most dapper gentlemen that you can find.
That is
and
true.
The more dapper you are, the more fused your top hat is to your head.
That's true.
So everyone knows
it's being kept, and those mustaches just show how much honor these gentlemen have acquired.
A mustache monocle.
Yeah. So.
Yes, they all deserve monocles as well.
Link in the description for this very fun, ridiculous game that looks a lot like Starwall.
It does, yeah. It does draw a comparison to Starwall as far as like jabbing at the correct spot. No.
Phrasing.
Yeah, that's what she said. I don't know. Anyway, but in that kind of thing, it kind of reminds me of Starwall, but it's not as deep as Starwall. But we're talking about a free game that you can just download off of Game Jolt. So I mean, really, it's fun to screw around on with a friend. So if you have a friend, if you have at least just one friend, even a dog that can just mash his paws on a thing, you could probably still play it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play with my 2-year-old daughter. I don't know. That's probably not true.
That's a good idea.
I think
I got an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put my left hand against my right hand, and who wins?
Go lefty.
Can you eliminate personal bias?
You played chess himself in the schoolyard. What?
Any other questions about Gentleman Dispute? Do any of you have a dispute? It doesn't matter because you're not a gentleman.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've been told. My wife disagrees sometimes.
On that note, I think that is the end of the show. But before we do that, those of you listening live, you're not going to hear it right now. But in the recorded version, we have background music that we put in every single time. This week, the background music is by an artist named Matashi. We can find him on Newgrounds. I'll put the link in the description. So go check that out. Thank you, Matashi, for allowing us to use your music. And also, for those of you who are not listening live and are listening to the recorded version, you can listen live now because we are doing that now. Fridays at 9, assuming nothing goes on, but we'll keep everyone notified via our usual channels. But you can listen live on hitbox.tv/JaShinYa. Come join the chat, be a part of the show. You've heard us during this episode talk to the chat room, one person. But this was kind of like a last minute thing too. So
it was.
Hopefully that'll grow as people actually find out that we're doing this live now. Other ways that you can contact us, again, for those of you listening live, if you don't know, you can go to youtube.com/JaShinYa Gaming. It's JaShinya Gaming, and check out all the episodes there. We're on Twitter at IGR Podcast, Facebook.com/IGR Podcast. We also have a Reddit, which is reddit.com/r/Indie Game Riot. Our website for the time being is IGRpodcast.webs.com.
Did you talk about the Reddit?
Well, oh, crap. I did talk about the Reddit. And then there's a contact form on that website that you can... It goes to my email anyway, or you can just email me directly at JaShinYaGaming@gmail.com. And I'm only going to say this in this one episode because I don't want to beg for donations and everything like that, but we have new... things on our website. We have a donation and a sponsor link, so if you have something that you want us to promote at the beginning of the show real quick, $10 we'll say whatever you want, assuming it's not like horrible like rude things.
I'm gonna donate $10.
Or you can just donate whatever you'd like as well. We have a donate button, and we also have a new merch store which also helps support the show. So anything that you want to do, please, it helps out a lot. It'll go directly right into the show. We're not using it for personal things or anything like that.
And also, before we hit the outro, you can also watch us live, as Josh said, on www.hitbox.tv/JaShinYa. That is hitbox.tv/JaShinya.
Reiteration. So.
You enable the evolution.
Oh, there you are.
The Hitbox link, and that is where people can watch it.
I did mention the Hitbox link.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
You said.
Is this going to be your new Reddit?
You can watch on Hitbox, but you didn't get the URL to the Hitbox.
I did.
I was listening.
I did.
I was.
You can listen back on the recorded version. You do that, and when you hear me say the link, you can pay me.
Josh, this is gonna be like you and Rev's like Phil Fish incident, isn't it?
you can pay me $100 just because I just bitch smacked you verbally. So
nope. Our live audience says Josh did not provide the full link. He just said hitbox.tv.
I did. We'll listen back. The proof is in the pudding, or the podcast, whatever you want to say.
It's in the podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, say goodbye.
Have a good one, all.
See you guys.
Toodles! What am I? I can't think of words. And we are okay.
X-ray, Chicago.
Okay, I got
Pizza, beer.
Flip night. I used to be like you, little dog, until I grew a brain, a dick, and a heart.
Defenestration. There's a good word for you, Josh.
True story.
I'm
I
not doing
woke up
SATs.
migrating one
Take it
day.
easy.
Turns out I was in a sharper image.
All right, I got it.
I had a heart on.
Shut up.
Turns out, no.
Turns out, shut up.
So Josh is gonna be. He was just typing out his intro. I could see it now. And he's like, "Indie Game Riot."
I grew a penis.
What?